In this video, I'm going to teach you just one move which can help you develop a perfect downswing and obviously give you better shots on the golf course. So I've given a lot of lessons recently, both kind of in person and online, and lots of my students have needed one thing that's very, very similar in their golf swing. And as soon as we added this move in and we introduced this to their golf swing, everything changed. They started to hit further, more solid, more consistent, and generally with a better shape. I'm going to teach you that move today, and I'm going to teach you that in 3 pretty simple steps. So what did they all need in their golf swings? Well, on the way down, they all needed more speed in their arms. They all needed to actually accelerate their arms independently of their body. Now, like I said, they all thought that was the wrong thing to do. They were all trying to kind of from the top, rotate the body, use the body, almost square the club face with the body. And that's not necessarily the case. So this is the first little exercise I'd love you to do, and then we're going to explain why it's kind of so important. I would love you to take something like this. This is an alignment stick. You can use anything that's a similar sort of shape and size as this. And I'm going to place this pretty much under my trail arm. And you can see that as I stand upright, it's pretty much horizontal. Now, when I take a setup to this golf ball, I've got myself a 7-iron here. My lead arm is not in contact with this alignment stick. There's a gap, and it's probably 6 to 8 inches. So if I suddenly go from here to my impact position, what is that relationship like? Well, it's pretty similar. My lead arm is here, the alignment stick is there. There is still probably about 6 to 8 inches gap between it. So there's my impact. Now watch what happens when I sort of take a setup and I make a backswing. My lead arm hits that alignment stick. Okay? So if it's hitting that alignment stick on the way back, what have I got to do in the downswing? I've got to move it off that alignment stick because we need that perfect impact. So do this little exercise with me. Just stand up, take your posture, place your lead arm down as if you've got a golf club. Take your trail hand and put one finger on your bicep and one finger on your sort of chest area there. Now, if I keep that relationship the same, so I don't change what my lead arm is doing relative to my chest, and I turn my shoulders through 90 degrees into a backswing, where do I end up? Here. Now, does that look like the end of a backswing? It doesn't. It looks like my body's made a full turn, but this isn't where the hands and arms would be. So in a backswing, what do we have? We have body turn, but we also have to have some swing of the arms. The arms have to do something independently of the body. So if my arms in the backswing are moving up and across my chest, what have they got to do in the downswing? Well, they've got to do the opposite. They've got to move down and off my chest. And the reason that's so important is, look what happens if I grab a golf club and I don't have that move. If I take a setup, I'm going to make my backswing where I've got shoulder turn and arm swing. And if I keep my arm pinned onto my chest and I rotate my body, it doesn't matter how much I turn my body, my shoulders are pretty much square to the target there. My hips are open, my weight's on my lead side. I can't get that golf club to the ball. How do I get that golf club to the ball? Well, look, I need to use some of my hands and arms. I need to use them. But if I use them at this point in the golf swing, look where the club's coming from. Very steep, very choppy, very across the ball. I'm going to get very cramped. So we have to use the hands and the arms in the downswing. That's the first thing. Hopefully I've explained why. The second thing would be, if we're going to use them, when we use them is really important, because that little demonstration showed us that if we use them late, we're not going to get great results. So we've done the first drill, which is kind of alignment stick. Have a go at that one. This is your second little exercise. And this is the one which is really kind of a bit of a eye-opening experience for many. I'm going to take a setup to this 7-iron, and I'm going to place this bag kind of in line with my toes, so in there, and the end of the bag is around about a club head width away from me, and obviously that's a 7-iron. So this is the drill that I've had my students doing recently, and it's giving some fantastic results. Take a setup, move up to the top. Sorry, before I do this, this is an impact bag. You might have to get a little creative. Use a cushion, a pillow, a bag full of old clothes or sheets or something that you don't mind kind of hitting. So we're going to take a setup, we're going to make a backswing. And I want you to, from here, hold your knees, hold your hips, hold your chest, hold your shoulders. Do not move them at all. And simply use your hands and your arms to smack the golf club into this bag. Now that isn't a golf swing, clearly, because I'm hitting a bag, I'm not hitting the ball. But what it's teaching me, and what it will teach you, is to kind of understand what the hands and the arms are doing relative to the chest. My chest isn't moving, but my hands and my arms are. Now, you might look at this, and lots of people have said to me when I've done this in the past, is this not just casting and throwing the golf club. Okay, because clearly my wrists have sort of lost their angle, the golf club has gone down to the ground. This looks like a very strange position. But what about if I did that? So arms down to the bag, and as I did that, I actually rotated my body. Well, look what happens if I do this, and the bag's a little bit in the way, but from here, if I just rotate my body, guess what? We're in a pretty perfect impact position. So the only reason that that drill looks a little strange and a little odd and it looks like a weird movement to do is because we're doing it as an isolated move. We're moving the arms down towards the ground without turning the body. But let me show you down to the bag. And this time I'm going to go down to the bag and add my body turn. We get a perfect impact position. Because the arms have moved relative to the chest, and we said right at the start that's essential in the golf swing, but the timing was good. So it wasn't turn, arms down, which so many of you will be doing. The arms are moving too late. It wasn't arms down, body doing nothing. It was arms down as the body rotates. And look at the shape of my downswing as I do that. Absolutely perfect. And if we do that again, but this time bring our alignment stick back in, what do we see? Lead arm is not in contact. Lead arm is clearly in contact. When I hit the bag, my lead arm moves back away from the alignment stick. And as I do this and add my turn, there's my impact. Lead arm is away from the alignment stick, and that goes right back to what we showed you at the start, that is the perfect impact position. So not only am I hitting the bag, but I'm hitting it with force. Because what we know in the golf swing is that the hands should be traveling at their fastest point at around about this part of the golf swing. So your hands will be from the top, accelerating to here, which is what we've just tried to do with that bag, and then they are slowing down. And when they're slowing down, that allows the club head to release and square up. So your first little exercise is the alignment stick under the arm. Second little exercise is the impact bag. Third exercise is actually to go and blend it into a swing. So I've got this ball teed up, much easier to hit shots when it's teed up. I'm gonna get myself comfortable. I've got a 7-iron, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do 3 rehearsals into the bag, and on the 4th one, I'm simply gonna add body turn and collect the ball. Hit the bag, 1, 2, 3, same movement, but add body turn. And I'm very happy with the direction. The contact, not so much. But hey, it's a drill. When you're doing drills, contact might be a little bit iffy. You might hit some ropey shots, but that's absolutely fine. You are learning new movements, you're learning new ideas, but my swing shape was good. I'm gonna do that once more because I feel like I can get a slightly better strike than that. I'd like to hope I can anyway. So here, hands down, there's 1, 2, 3, add some turn, and that was a much better shot. Okay, direction was still as good, but you can see the direction of the shot as well. So I was able to hit a shot which had a solid strike, it had a pretty neutral path, it had a pretty neutral face, and I had a pretty neutral ball flight. And I did it because I was using my arms correctly relative to my chest. So if you're struggling with impact, you're struggling with your downswing, many of my students needed more use of the arms early in the downswing, and it blew their mind. They thought that's not the correct thing to do. They were actually trying to do the opposite. You might be the case.